Hello, Jamin. You're watching Hornbill TV's Prime at 9. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday cautioned against complacency and said COVID-19 is not over yet, directing officials to strengthen ongoing surveillance measures, especially at the international airports. Chairing a high-level meeting to review the government's COVID-19 preparedness in wake of surge in cases in China, Modi called for the need to ensure that the entire infrastructure at a high level of preparedness in terms of equipment, processes and human resources, the Prime Minister's office said in a statement. The PM asked two officials to ramp up testing and also genomic sequencing efforts. The states have been asked to share a large number of samples with the INSACOG genome sequencing laboratories on a daily basis. During the meeting, a presentation was made on the current global COVID-19 situation. The Prime Minister was briefed about India witnessing a steady decline in cases. The PM advised the states to audit COVID-specific facilities to ensure operational readiness of hospital infrastructure, including oxygen cylinders, PSA plants, ventilators and human resources. Modi also urged people to follow COVID-19 norms at all times, especially in view of the festive season. He called for encouraging precautionary doses, especially for vulnerable and senior citizens. In exercise of the power conferred by the subsection Clause 1 and Clause 2 of Section 3 of the Nagaland Lokayukta Act 2017, Act 1 of 2018, the Governor of Nagaland, on recommendation of the Selection Committee, appointed Panyo Z. Jamir, ISA retired former Chief Secretary to the Government of Nagaland as Lokayukta with effect from the date of taking oath of office and assuming charge of her office to exercise powers conferred upon her and to perform the functions assigned to her under the Act. The Supreme Court has constituted another special investigation team comprising of 3 senior IPS officers headed by DIG Nagaland Police to investigate allegations of misuse of National Rural Health Mission funds by Nagaland and submit report within 6 months. The court has also directed the SIT to submit a supplementary charge sheet if any substance in the allegations is found. The petitioner had alleged that the engineering divisions of NRHM made bulk advances in cash against various fictitious work and kickbacks were allegedly paid to high-ranking NRHM officials. The petitioner had in 2013 first approached the Kohima bench of the Guwahati High Court seeking an independent probe by the Central Bureau of Investigation. However, the High Court on June 16, 2014 disposed the petition being satisfied by the efforts taken by the state to probe the allegations. Minister for Higher Education and Tribal Affairs Temjanimna Along dismissed the speculations of him being in the race for the Chief Minister's seat. Speaking exclusively to Hornbill TV at the sideline of the Mulong Kimong Baptist Church 150 years Jubilee celebration, the minister said the leadership of Chief Minister Nipurio and Deputy Chief Minister Y. Patton is clear and that the Bharatiya Janata Party and the Nationalist Democratic Progressive Party will be sharing seats in the upcoming state assembly elections. Also, when asked about the student scholarship, Along informed that scholarship for the more than 41,000 students have been released and there was no manipulations in disbursement.
I am only the state president of the party. The leadership of Honorable Chief Minister Shri Nefurio and the Honorable Deputy Chief Minister Y. Patton is clear, and we are going for a seat sharing, which is 40-20. Now, in that, if there is anything that people are trying to say that I'll be the Chief Minister, that means they are trying to kill me before I even get elected. So, I hope the people are not confused by all these facades that is happening in political propaganda. People of Nagaland should be politically straight and should stand politically strong. Under the leadership of Honorable Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister, the PDA government will be formed as elections may be held. So let us see what the results will be.
Sir, so just now you used the word Pasaings, and then we wanted to speak on this regard because while speaking to Hornbill TV exclusively, like you used the word Pasaings and it went viral. Since then, I don't think you have seen any loss when it comes to your journey on social media, and we have also seen you on national medias as well. Sir, so how is life after that? Because regarding the word Pasaings also, we have heard that some youths approached you to customize that word and use it in some t-shirts also. So how is people treating you when it comes to your sarcasm like this?
It's not sarcasm actually. Fasangs is the real word. In Nagaland, every one of us tries to fasangs each other. Politicians want to fasangs the other politician. One group wants to fasangs the other people, and everyone. And media is also not very far behind because you need news. And we also need popularity, so we go on with it. So in that way, we try to fasangs each other. At the end of the day, what will be good, we should take it. What is not good, we should remove it. We should be willing to accept what is right and what is just and not propagate propagandas.
Okay. So lastly, you just spoke on the scholarship and that scholarship has been released and there has been no corruption on this regard. So would you elaborate on that?
The Department of Higher Education, the department officials, especially under the leadership of the Honorable Chief Minister, who is the Finance Minister, has been able to release the scholarships to the department, even though it has taken some time because the colleges has to go for scrutiny of the students who are going to get it. It's not like you get it and then you give it. We have to make sure that it goes to the right students, to the right people who need it and who have applied for it. So the department has released it, and that will be the scholarship of this year.
The Angami Public Organization has appealed to the Southern Angami Public Organization in reconsidering its decision to prohibit Mao citizens entering or travelling through SAPO jurisdiction. In a press statement, APO, while acknowledging the SAPO's resolution to such measures due to the Kezolta Zuku dispute, stated that the Board of Arbitrators entrusted by the Tinimir Public Organization to adjudicate on the mentioned dispute has pronounced their verdict on December 19, 2022 and has such appealed to the SAPO to lift their restrictions on the Mao community as a mark of good faith for the shared ancestral and fraternal bond and in the true spirit of Christianity. Nine militant caterers of Amar People's Convention Democratic HPCD laid down their arms at Lakhimpur SDPO's office in Kachar district of Assam last evening. These militant caterers approached Kachar police to surrender a few days back, and following that, the team surrendered before the DIG Southern Range. Konkan Jyoti Saikia and SP Kachar Numal Mahatta at SDPO office Lakhimpur. They laid down 4 pistols and 5 AK series rifles along with huge quantity of ammunition and grenades. Formal surrender of these militants would take place on a later date, likely in presence of Chief Minister of Assam, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma, informed police sources. Meghalaya Chief Minister Conrad K. Sangma on Thursday inaugurated the new permanent premises of the Shillong Press Club at the DIPR complex, La Chumrie. The SPC, which is celebrating its 30 years anniversary this year, had been functioning from a rented temporary accommodation at Lower Lanchumrie. Addressing the gathering, Chief Minister said that this infrastructure will help boost the function of the journalists in the state.
Especially keeping in mind that you've been going from one corner to the other and from one location to another, shifting your offices all the time, not being able to run and have a permanent kind of a setup, and as mentioned again, having a lot of challenges and difficulties to be able to work in a proper and systematic manner. So I'm pretty sure that having a permanent office for the Shillong Press Club is going to bring a lot of stability in the work that you do. It's going to allow you to really create the infrastructure and a system that is not just in terms of the office structure, but a working system of how the press club should work. And I think this is a very important milestone where you come into the office, but in order to make the office into an organization, and in order to make an organization into a real press club, you'll have to work very well to be able to create the systems in place which will allow you to function as a good organization, and then will make this organization function as a good press club. So there are factors, and of course there are systems that need to be set up, and I'm sure that under the leadership of our President and Secretary of the Shillong Press Club, and under the guidance of the DIPR, I'm sure that the Shillong Press Club will be able to achieve that goal. And as I said, from a simple office, you'll make it into a very functional organization, and this organization will then finally function as a press club.
Chief Minister Conrad K. Sangmo on Thursday informed that he had discussion with the Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma on the need to ensure peace in the border areas. Sangma said the recent incident that happened was also discussed during the late-night meeting held at Guwahati.
A bit of a hurry, and as you're aware, just to share with you that we'll be having some COVID meetings also, because I know that you'll ask me questions about what the meetings are, what did I discuss with Mr. Himanta Biswa Sarma last night. So I'll just share with you that we had a good meeting. We discussed about the border issue, of course. We discussed about the incident that happened. We discussed about the fact that we need to take steps to ensure that this does not happen in the future, and that there should be restraint from both sides, and all the other factors to ensure that there is peace is there, and no tension is there, especially in the border areas, so that it facilitates the entire process of taking the talks forward. So detailed discussion was done on that last night. And today also, after this meeting, I'll be having a small COVID review meeting, because as you know that in the entire country there is a concern about the COVID issues in terms of the outbreak in China. And I can just share with you that all the cases that we are having with our state, the genome sequencing is being done for all of them. So it's already being done, and the positivity rate is very, 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 very low, is almost negligible, and we are doing quite a significant bit of testing. But exact numbers, of course, I don't have with me. I'll have it after the the review meeting is done. And apart from that, as I said, it is also the year ending. So in the last 1 week's time, large number of funds has been released from the government side, whether it's for the salaries of the SSA teachers, whether it's the double salary for the government employees in terms of advance salary, whether it's the payment of the bills for the contractors, whether it's their share of royalty to the district councils.
A suspected linkman of the United Liberation Front of Assam Independent was injured in an encounter with security forces in Tinsukia district of Assam on Wednesday. According to the Tinsukia police, the incident took place inside the upper Dihing Reserve Forest under Pingri police station when a joint team of police and army personnel were conducting an operation to nab suspected Alpha I caters hiding in the area. The outfit has, however, denied any involvement. The 10,323 sacked teachers of Tripura held demonstrations in front of the Chief Minister's residence on Thursday after failing to meet the CM in regard to their demand for job security. The group withheld their protest stage and held dharna to appeal the Chief Minister. The agitators were, however, detained by the administrative security. The 10,323 dismissed teachers have been on strike for the past 2 months.
পারি? আমাদের উপরে এত বড় একটা অভিযোগ হলো, আজকে 64 দিন রাস্তায়, প্লিজ আমাদেরকে অনেক বোঝানো হয়েছে, 64 দিন আমরা রাস্তায় আছি, অ্যাটলিস্ট আপনাদের পুলিশের পক্ষ থেকে ভালো করে জানেন 10,323 শিক্ষক শিক্ষিকারা আমরা যারা বিদ্যালয় শিক্ষা দপ্তরের অধীন 7 বছর এবং 10 বছর আমরা শিক্ষকতার পেশায় যুক্ত ছিলাম, কোনো এক অজ্ঞাত কারণে এটা আইনের কচকচানিতে সেখানে কতিপয় আমলা এবং কতিপয় আইনি পরামর্শদাতার ভুল সিদ্ধান্ত মোতাবেক এটা হাইকোর্ট এবং সুপ্রিম কোর্টের জাজমেন্টকে ভুল ব্যাখ্যা দিয়ে নিরপরাধ শিক্ষকদেরকে আজকে রাস্তায় বসিয়ে দিয়েছে। পূর্বতন সরকার এই আইনকে যেমন বৃদ্ধাঙ্গুষ্ঠ দেখিয়েছে, আজকে বর্তমানে যারা ক্ষমতায় আছেন বিজেপি আইপিএফটির সরকার, এনারাও সরকারে আসার আগে প্রতিশ্রুতি দিয়েছিলেন 10,323-এর উপরে যে অন্যায় হয়েছে এবং যে অবিচারটা হয়েছে, সরকারে আসলে পরে ওনারা আমাদেরকে আইন এবং সংবিধানকে মান্যতা দিয়ে মানবতার দৃষ্টিকোণ থেকে বিচার করে 10,323-কে প্রথম ক্যাবিনেটের পরেই আমাদেরকে বিদ্যালয়মুখী করবেন। অর্থাৎ আজকে 57 মাস যেই সরকারের বয়স হয়ে গেছে, আজকের দিনেও দাঁড়িয়ে আমাদের রাজ্যের সর্বকালের একজন সুশিক্ষিত, বিচক্ষণ, দূরদৃষ্টি সম্পন্ন এবং সজ্জন মুখ্যমন্ত্রী, যিনি বারবার বলার চেষ্টা করেন যে আমরা কথায় নয় কাজে বিশ্বাসী। আপনারা লক্ষ্য করেছেন মাননীয় মুখ্যমন্ত্রী আমাদের এই বিষয়টাকে নিয়ে 1-2 বার উনি আলোচনার টেবিলে বসেছেন।
In a first ever UN-Myanmar resolution, the United Nations Security Council has urged Myanmar's junta to immediately release all arbitrarily detained prisoners, including Aung San Suu Kyi and ex-President Win Myint. The voting was proposed by the UK under India's presidency. 12 members of the UN Security Council voted in favor of the resolution, demanding an immediate end to violence in Myanmar, while China, Russia and India abstained.
We believe that the complex situation in Myanmar calls for an approach of quiet and patient diplomacy. Any other course will not help in resolving the long-standing issues which have prevented enduring peace, stability, progress and democratic governance. It is therefore important to carefully weigh actions by this Council. Quiet and constructive diplomacy is the desirable recourse for seeking constructive and enduring solutions in Myanmar. The consequences of instability will affect the neighbouring countries the most, and it is therefore important to consider their views and perspectives seriously. In view of these concerns and our firm commitment to the democratic process and the well-being of the people of Myanmar, India decided to abstain on this resolution.
The Indian Air Force has deployed its Garud special forces in the high altitude positions along the China border from western Ladakh to Arunachal Pradesh for specialist operations on the line of actual control since May 2020. The Indian Air Force has also equipped them with the latest weapons like the American Sig-Sauer assault rifles along with the latest AK-103, whose latest version AK-203 would be produced in the country under the Make in India scheme. It is the shortest day or the longest night of the year today. The winter solstice, also known as the hibernal solstice, marks the beginning of the lengthening of the days and the shortening of nights. On December solstice, the northern hemisphere is far from the sun, while the southern hemisphere begins its astronomical summer. NASA shared some snowy pictures taken from space station to mark the day. China is struggling to contain possibly the biggest COVID-19 outbreak the world has ever seen, maybe recording 1 million COVID-19 cases and 5,000 deaths every 24 hours, Bloomberg reported Thursday, citing new research by a London-based analytics firm. According to Airfinity Limited, the current wave of cases exacerbated as much by China's insistence on scrapping COVID protocols as by the emergence of BF7, a new Omicron subvariant. Daily new cases would increase to 3.7 million by next month and a frightening 4.2 million by March. Airfinity Limited's modeling of the scale and toll of China's latest outbreak uses provisional data and underlines the impact of the Xi Jinping government abruptly dropping its controversial zero-COVID policy, to what American epidemiologist Eric Feigelting this week called the "let whoever needed to be infected, infected, let whoever needs to die, die" approach. That's all we have for now. Keep watching Hornbill TV.